Dobar dan svima. Krajem novembra 2022. su u Podgorici u Muzičkom centru održani prvi crnogorski dani arhitekture. Iskoristili smo priliku razgovarati sa predavačima. Arhitektura u vremenu interneta biva pogrešno protumačena kao slika, kao razglednica, lišena svojih ostalih karakteristika, procesa i konteksta. Želimo približiti vas arhitekturi, a prostor koji vas okružuje približiti vama, kako bi ga zajedno sa više pažnje promatrali i učinili što boljim mjestom za život. Dobrodošli. Elena Longhin. Često se arhitekti oslanjaju na osjećaj, na subjektivno, na instinkt, ne i naša gošća, koja od Venecije do Londona na kojima predaje, a onda i širom svijeta svojom školom arhitekture i pejzažnog dizajna širi važnost analize, posmatranja, preciznosti. Na njenim školama studenti sagledavaju pejzaže kroz različite struke i prizme, dok ne zaključe kako bi zaista trebalo reagovati. O ljepoti istraživanja i još par stvari sa Elenom Longhin. Uživajte.
Hello, Elena. How are you?
Hi, I'm good, thank you.
Is this your first time in Podgorica in Montenegro?
Yes, it's the first time.
You are a co-director of something that is AAVS,
Yes.
Architectural Association Visiting School Terrain Lab with, I think, I will pronounce it well, Silvia Ribot.
Yes, true. She's my Spanish colleague. Yes.
At the beginning, I would like to know how do you choose location for your studies, and also what kind of approach did you choose? Do you choose, and what type of methodology?
Yeah. So we are actually driven by the willing to understand dynamics, territorial dynamics that are implied into human processes. So into everyday activities, would they be production through territory? Would they be, things like agriculture or issues like flooding of urban environments? So we are driven by understanding certain dynamics. From there, we go and try to understand what's behind certain things, and these drive us to the decision to study a certain piece of landscape.
Yes, what kind of methodology? What are you doing with it? There is a lot of mapping, a lot of analysis and investigation process.
Of course. We find this very fundamental because even for the wider audience, if you would go and want to understand what's going on in the place that you live in, it's really difficult to really understand where we sit and how the landscape is affecting the way in which we live and vice versa. So we believe that there is a fundamental role that mapping can have, and therefore we try to develop a different way to describe things through mapping. Of course, this is not something that new, but we are basing ourselves on a long array of expertises and of research before us. So what's important for us is to use different tools. So tools of architecture and urbanism, but also tools that belongs to other studies. So we really want to understand how other expertise of science use their studies, their tools, their simulation, for example. And we go and hack them and use them and embed them within architectural tools. So in the mapping things, for example, we use systems that belongs to geomorphology studies, stuff like that. So we really want to embed things to become more multidisciplinary. So the methodology really is to understand the site through survey, analysis, mapping, to being able to project a project. And we do so in a choreography of action through also the help of many expertise, so not just from architects and urbanists, but from other people.
But who are the stakeholders of your studies? I think that's important questions because that is kind of involving community in the whole process.
They are, of course, municipalities. We are used to work especially with tiny locations, with tiny places that are usually neglected, So we look beyond the larger urban agglomerations, but we go and see what this agglomeration has to do with more far urban environments or towns, and we collaborate with mayor of those towns in order to help them to understand their territory and provide them tools to then project projects.
Yeah. But what is the final product of your architectural association visiting school?
The project is the composition of atlases that help us to understand the territory and are used as base to project new planning decision, for example.
Yes, yes. I think I had the opportunity to see one from the Pamplona, I think, for 2017.
Yes.
That is something that I found on net, and it was like a booklet of 50 pages of different kind of analysis about that specific location, and also it is for me it is kind of important because you have a different approach, like in a microwave, in different scales actually.
Yes.
You know, in microwave and something you are like similar as mixed. I'm sorry, Mr. Dixit. You are trying to erase borders and boundaries
exactly.
between.
Yeah, no, this is fundamental. This is really, we don't use certain knowledge, so we don't even, I mean, of course we have the borders, but we don't look, we don't interpret them as obstacles, of course. And it's fundamental you mentioned the small scale, because in fact this is, in our work this is not a linear approach from large to small or vice versa, but there's always steps that then inform the previous or the next phase. So every time we get to a certain scale, and what we find out that scale really readjusts, you know, and help us to reconfigure other scales of action. In the Pamplona case, we were hired by 2 municipalities to help them to understand their territory, and that was a very interesting experience.
What is sustainability for you?
That's a big question. For me, it's beyond the understanding of how a building, for example, will work in the next years. It's something that is very much the concern of regulations today, you know, when we construct a project. But it's about understanding what's behind, what comes first, the construction of a project. So really understand where the materials come from, how we make use of them, who is implied in the way in which we extract certain materials, and therefore how much our project has larger impact in scales and in time scales as well.
Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you.
Was a pleasure.
Thank you, for me too. Bye.